Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Hello, my cleaning business friends. I'm excited for our episode today. We're going to be investigating a really amazing grime story with some friends of mine. So I want to introduce you to today's guests. Today, I want to welcome Lyana and Carissa Spinner. There they are. Hi, guys. And they are in Ludington, Michigan. They are the owners of All Seasons Cleaning. And we're kind of neighbors because I'm in Michigan too. And they have been in business since 2014. They are actually married and they met at work, just like me and my husband, which I think is pretty cool. And they both started out cleaning in the field, just like many of us did in the cleaning industry. But they have grown an amazing business over the last few years. And especially in the last about year and a half, have made some really big changes to their business. And I can't wait for them to share with you some of the results. But let's jump into our interview. So welcome. Hi, Lyana and Carissa. Welcome. How are you guys today? How you doing?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Great. Good. Well, I love those smiles. We're going to have some fun today on our interview. So the first thing I would love to hear from you, we're going to set what we call the grime scene. Okay. So I want you to think back when you were, running your cleaning business, some of the challenges that you were facing when you knew that there has to be a better way. What are some of the things that what some of the challenges you were dealing with back then?
So my biggest one, we struggled a lot with efficiency. So having a process for how technicians were supposed to work, not just in the cleaning aspect, but when they go into a house where they start first. And then making sure that they're double checking their work and just having a process and an expectation of what their process is.
So what kind of problems did that cause for you guys personally, in running your business? What were some of the results of not having that process in place?
A lot of me going in and trying to help clean up at the end when they weren't quite where they were supposed to be by the time they were supposed to be.
So you were getting pulled back out into the field to kind of fix problems more often?
Yeah, client complaints too sometimes. I mean, those were definitely not as frequent as me just going out and making sure that didn't happen.
And going along with that, though, because people would feel worn out from feeling like they're not doing the job correctly, having employee retention was a big issue as well.
And a good company morale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of affects everything, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. When people don't feel like they can be successful at what they're doing, it causes overwhelm, not just for the owners, but for our team members too, right? Absolutely. And just for our friends who are watching today, just so you know, it's actually Carissa on the left and Lyana on the right. So the names are on the screen are flip-flop, but I just want to make sure everybody has that clear. So how were you guys feeling? How are you feeling at that point as the business owners?
Unable to breathe.
Deflated.
I don't know if I got a day off at all for 3-4 years.
So no vacations?
No.
Yeah.
Between 2020, we took a few because there was nothing to do. Yeah. But between the end of 2020 and 2023, we didn't do a whole lot. Because if we did go somewhere, like we used to go to Tennessee every year, we worked every day while we were in Tennessee. And it wasn't until last year when we went to Chicago for a speed cleaning seminar and we met Debbie that we're like, this lady's got her stuff together and I need to be like that. We have 3 office girls, and I still have so much up here that I can just I can just do, where it's not, even though I've had the one office girl in the office for a year and a half now, she knows a lot, but she can't just do it like I can do it. And I have to get to the point where it's not going to get her to my status if I just do it for her.
True. That's like a next step in leadership, right? Learning how to empower our people to kind of take the ball and run with it and be responsible for the outcomes. But I know that you've made a lot of progress just in this, short year and a half. So what was the size of your business when you went to that speed cleaning conference?
We had 14 cleaners, and one office person, and we had grossed the previous year, so 2022, we had grossed $265,000.
Okay, great. Well, we'll share your results a little bit later, but just to kind of set the scene of where you were in the beginning when you knew that there had to be something better out there. I mean, none of us become entrepreneurs so that we can work 24/7, right?
Yeah.
We think that we become entrepreneurs for a better life, but then the one thing that entrepreneurs will do is they'll work for almost nothing, and
we've definitely done that. Not recently, but we have definitely been there.
Right. Yeah. And when you are working 24/7, your hourly pay rate is probably less than minimum wage,
Correct.
And we get ourselves caught in that and we say, oh, we're doing a great job because we're at, 200,000 or whatever. But when you look at what you're actually putting in your pocket, it's not as much as you would hope for when you decided to do this crazy thing called becoming an entrepreneur,
Right.
Yeah. So, when you met Debbie Sardone at the speed cleaning conference, kind of what happened next?
So we actually talked to Kathy Merchant,
another Michigan cleaning business owner in South Haven.
So I had followed Debbie on and off for a couple years, and I purchased the speed cleaning CDs, DVDs, in like 2017, and I watched them, and the girls watched them. Yeah. We used them, the ones that were set in like the 80s or 90s, so they were a little hard to watch, but we did use them. But we did not use the apron. That was a game changer. But when we met Kathy Merchant, we were like, this is a real person. Debbie's like a celebrity, and Kathy Merchant is a real person, and she's getting results. So it was Kathy that actually pushed us into trying the system.
That's right. Kathy's a great example too of, someone who has really turned her business around, just making those major changes to her business. So I'm glad. I remember the first time I met the both of you, and Kathy was there, and she was so excited that you were there. And that explains why. So that's so cool. So can you share with the people listening to us today, what's like one specific thing that you learned after you decided to get involved with cleaning business fundamentals? What was something that you learned that once you implemented it really helped to kind of get your business back on track?
You get this one.
Well, really, there was two big things. One of the biggest things that we learned was that we could not have all of our material and expectations in Lyana's head alone. It kind of had to be on paper so people could follow the processes and know the expectations ahead of time and stuff like that. So that was a big thing for us. And then the other thing was just a lot of the efficiency things. Take your supplies with you, the apron, that was a big one for us.
Yeah. And so then once you started to systemize, to capture the systems that were trapped in Lyana's brain and put them in places where you could start to train people and using the speed cleaning method the right way, right? That a lot of us think, well, I mean, that's a great idea, but, we're going to do it this way. But you found if the system works, you have to follow the full system, right? And so kind of, what were some of the things that you started to see, some early results that you started to see as you were making those changes?
Well, at first it was, I'm not going to do that from our technicians. It was a lot of backlash. But so for instance, with the aprons, I made them a deal. I said, give it 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, if you absolutely hate it, we'll talk about it then. Not a single one of them came back with, I hate it. I don't want to do this. They loved their aprons. They said that it was so much better. So the backlash, as we started to make more changes with CBF, went way lower because they see that we're trying to do it for them.
That's just amazing. Anybody who's watching this today has to make note of that really smart strategy that you just shared right there. Is we often are afraid to make change because our team members are going to be resistant, right? And so we're like, oh, and we assume that it's going to go poorly. They're not going to like this. I don't want to do it. But you made them a deal and you made them see that you were doing it for them. And I love the time bound deal because it makes them think, oh, well, I'm not going to like it. And she's going to let me not use this apron in 2 weeks. Right. And then they get out there and they find like, I can't live without this apron. I can't do anything without this apron. I'm going to wear this apron to bed, and, so I love that. That's a golden tip right there. But we're going to take a little break right now from our interview. We're going to come back with Lyana and Carissa in just a moment. But we'd like to take a break and hear from our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Is your cleaning business a grime story? There's no need to stay stuck in the muck because you're not alone. With over 500 active members and more than 500 graduates of our Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, CBF is the #1 cleaning business academy in the world and has created more mop-free millionaires than any program in the industry. Learn more and let CBF take your residential cleaning business from a grime story to a gleaming success. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to True Grime Stories with our guests today, Lyana and Carissa Spinner in Ludington, Michigan. And they just shared a great tip about how to get your team members to buy in to change, because change is hard, right? So what are some of the other challenges that you had as you were making change? Because I think a lot of business owners, sometimes it's just easier to stay where I am because I'm either too afraid of the change or nobody's going to like the change, or they're assuming the customers won't like the change. What were some of the other challenges that you dealt with?
Personally, it was Debbie Flix versus Netflix.
For those of you who don't know, right? Can you explain what Debbie Flix is?
So it is the training. All of her training that she goes through is on the computer, and they are videos, and she talks to us. So by the end of the day, because we work 12 to 15 hours a day, especially in the summer, and we started the program in the summer.
And you two have what, four
kids, yeah.
4 children, right? So yeah, that's a lot of kids too. You have busy life.
By the time we get home, we wanted to put on some Grey's Anatomy or Walking Dead. So we had to hold each other accountable and watch Debbie Flix, not Netflix. Mm-hmm. And my office manager was so excited when we would do that because we would come back with so many great ideas. The other day we did one of our momentum calls with you, and Great. I came back with expecting positivity, and she's like, I love that.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, it changes everything, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
When we go into every conversation or every challenge expecting a positive outcome, changes everything. Well, that's so great. I mean, I've watched you two blossom in your business, and it's just been a joy to watch you grow. And you have been getting some amazing results. So can you share with me the change from where you were when we first visited your grime scene to today, now that you've solved your grime scene, what are some of the great results you're experiencing?
Okay, so I told you that we ended around, what was it, 250 the first year. That July, I was so ecstatic because we, in 2022, we had a $50,000 July. In 2023, a month after we started CBF, we had an $87,000 July.
Holy, that's more than 50% growth. That's crazy.
Yeah, this July, and I'm trying not to cry right now.
Oh,
We ended at $137,000 in 1 month.
that is crazy. I got tears.
So we ended 2023 at 560.
I think so.
And we're sitting at that right now.
That is absolutely amazing. Congratulations, you two. And, this isn't, an overnight success thing.
No,
Cleaning
it is
business
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, right? And you have definitely put the work in, and you have inspired so many people that I couldn't wait to talk with you when we started this podcast. And cleaning business fundamentals, I often say it's not the easy button, but it is the treasure map, right? It
Absolutely
shows you exactly where to dig. And you were 3 feet from gold back in the day. And you probably could feel it. You could probably feel, right, that the business was out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how big is your town? I think this is really important for people to know too. I'm very familiar with Ludington. I have family in your community, and I have stayed at Ludington State Park many times. So, but share with people how big Ludington, Michigan is.
Year round, we have 8,000 residents.
That's amazing. And it's just amazing. And what is your mix of business? If you say you're recurring residential, short-term rentals, commercial, whatever types of cleaning you're doing, what's your mix? Like what percentage is each one?
We are 65% residential, 32% rental, and the rest is commercial.
Wow. You pretty much, you own Ludington, Michigan, don't you?
Well, some of it. We have 135 Google reviews. The next closest has 6.
Oh, wow.
So we work well with the other companies that are here, though.
Yeah.
We have another company here locally, KNC.
KNC, yeah.
The owner's name is Kelly. She's great, but she owns 3 other businesses, and she's very busy. Mm-hmm. And if she can't take on something, she sends it to us. And if we can't take on something, then we'll send it to her.
That is great. I love that you mentioned that and gave her a plug too. And, this is a best practice, I think, of all local business owners is get to know your competitors, right? Be friends. There's so much that we can do together in supporting each other. So I love that leadership that you're showing in your community to, be friends with the people down the street. You can work together. There's plenty of business to go around.
Exactly.
Yeah. So have you calculated your growth percentage? But it's like, what, 300%?
It was 91% last year. I have not yet this year just because I want to see what we're actually going to end at.
Yeah. But it's like, since you started, your monthly is like 300%.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Crazy. Well, congratulations. And I'm a little speechless on that one. Just so excited to be able to share that. And can you share with people, like, what advice? So, this podcast is going to be watched by a lot of people who either are cleaning business owners who are like us. My business was a mess when I found Debbie Sardone too, and, had to make a lot of changes to get to where we are today. So there are a lot of people probably watching like that, but then there are people thinking about joining the cleaning industry. What would you say to a cleaning business owner? What advice would you give?
Stop doubting it and just do it. It took me almost 6 years to sign up My
You knew about
I knew
Debbie's.
about Debbie. Yep. I
Okay.
had a phone call with her, sitting at a rental house, completely exhausted, back in 2016. And I got off the phone saying, "This lady is crazy. There's no way I can spend that amount of money. It's worth the money because we got that money back in a month, 1 month."
Right. And now you've moved, didn't you move your office or didn't you expand too as well in this period of time?
Both. Yeah. Yes.
We've done both. So we took on new service territory and also got a new office.
Oh, wow. So what service territory did you take on?
We moved 20 minutes south and 20 minutes east and 20 minutes north.
Oh, okay. So you just went.
We can't go west because
we can't go west. They're on the lake shore of Lake Michigan. So yeah, that's exciting. Well, I just can't wait to see what's happening next for you guys because you do big things. You don't mess around. And these are people to watch and to learn from. So I encourage everybody to follow them. They are great examples of leadership in the residential cleaning industry. And I bet there's way more ahead for both of you. But I want to thank you for coming on to share with us today what you're up to, how you're growing and expanding. And I want to encourage everybody to follow Lyana's advice and don't wait and look into the opportunities available to you. I believe that every business owner should have a coach, just like every athlete has a coach and every vocalist has a coach. We need someone who's not in our business to help us see how to grow and expand. And so I know you guys have taken on so much of that and applied all of it to your business. And that's the other thing too, is when you learn about a system, don't try to change it to fit your business, right? What's something else that you tried in your business that at first you didn't think would work, but it worked?
So we talked about the time efficiency and the aprons and stuff. I guess just holding an expectation for our employees. So before they kind of, as long as the job got done, the job was done, and that's all that really mattered. But just setting an actual standard and expectation for them to work to. And that really made a big difference for everybody because they knew what they were supposed to do. Going in headstrong makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's great advice. It is so true, right? When we know what to expect, we kind of live up to that expectation. So that's great. Thank you, Carissa. Well, I just want to thank you both for being so open and sharing about your experience over the last year and a half. And I want to reach out to all of our listeners today and encourage you to read the show notes and click on the link to learn more about cleaning business fundamentals. Because if you are living in your own grime story and you're tired of being in the grime scene, CBF can help you solve your grime story. I've seen it happen many times. And so thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode of True Grime Stories.
Bye, guys.
That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.